Hello and welcome to my three thought video. I'm in Numbers, Song of Solomon, and the Book of Luke. Three interesting verses that tell a pretty curious story. The first verse is in Numbers 14, verse 40. Early the next morning, they went up toward the high hill country. We have sinned, they said. We'll go up to the place the Lord promised. And the context is really interesting. It's buried in the spies who went over to spy out the land, and then the failure to believe that God was going to really move. And they started a rumor that they were going to stone Aaron and go back to Egypt. And then God said, "This crowd is a bunch of losers. I'm going to wipe them out." And Moses says, "No, don't do it." And then God says, well, none of them are going to enter the promised land. None of them. The younger ones under 20 will go. But then these people, changed their minds and decided, well, what God is saying is not going to be what we're going to do. Like, we are going to go up and we're going to go to the high hill country and we're going to take it. We're going to take it without God, without consent. And it says early the next morning. The two things that sort of stand out to me is this snap judgment, right? An understanding of the will of God does not come with snap judgments, this quick movement away from the will of God quickly. And then Moses goes up to him and says, "Don't do it. God's not with you. It's not going to work." And their inability to take correction or direction of any kind from leadership. So when you're faced with a decision and you realize you're making a snap decision and you're unwilling to listen to, any kind of direction or leadership or growth, maybe not such a good idea. And then in the book of Song of Solomon, the Song of Solomon is such a delight. To me, it's just such a delight. For a long time, I was reading it really slow. I had a spiritual director who said, "Why don't you read, just really small portions of it and just soak it in?" And so I've read it several times, and it's always just, it's such music to my ears because I want to have this connection to God, this union, this love and affection, this delight and desire built and baked into my relationship with God, not just an understanding or a knowing or a positionally, like I know he saved me, I know he died for me, I know he created me, but this deep desire and affection for God. And this verse says, "Arise, come, my darling, my beautiful one, come with me." And this verse is a picture, right? It's a picture of God and his people. And one of the things that stands out to me is that God sees us. He sees us and desires us. He sees something beautiful and desirable, and he has a deep affection for us. And so many times we just think, oh, well, we're his creation. He's obligated to like us. And, he doesn't deeply love us because we don't really know anybody that loved us like that. And so, God is this sort of ogre who, sort of forces himself to find favor with us. But no, God sees you, and what he sees, he likes. And what he likes, he's calling away. Come on, rise. Let's get up. It's the summer has come. The spring is blooming. The vines, they smell great. Well, let's get out of the house. Come away with me and be alone and intimate and connected and with me. And God has that deep desire. If you're living your Christian faith and you don't have a sense of God's deep desire for you as you are, as he can plainly see you, right? Naked and unashamed, God sees you as you are, and he thinks you're awesome, and he really delights in you. And then in Luke is the story of Judas talking to the powerful people, and it says he consented and watched for an opportunity to hand Jesus over to them when no crowd was present. And I think that this is an interesting sort of it's the tell of premeditated sin, right? He consented. He knew what he was doing. He understood what the plan was, what he was thinking. And then he started to look for that opportunity. When is that window of time going to happen where I can do what I have decided to do ahead of time? And then lastly, when will there be no witnesses? When will there be no one around to see me do this thing in secret? We sin in secret with opportunity, and we're looking for it. So one good guardrail against sin is to not consent. Right? Don't consent. Don't decide ahead that you're going to sin, and don't look for opportunity. Don't say I'm going to keep my eye out for the time when I can do this, when nobody's looking, when there's nobody watching. Not only is it sort of the anatomy of sin, it also points to the guardrails that are good to keep us away from premeditated sin. That's all for today. Those are my 3 thoughts. Again, if you find yourself in any position where you want to get closer to God or get free from the entanglements of sin and the bitterness and difficulty of life, it's a great conversation for a spiritual director. That's all for today. Have a great day, and we'll see you next time.